Hey everybody, thank you for joining me again on episode 2 of Beyond the Block, the tutorial let's play where I show you all the fundamental basics of Minecraft while also developing our ever-evolving world. As you recall in our last episode, we were on the mission to try and get some wool to get our bed made. We didn't quite make it until the end there, and we had to survive and thrive throughout the first evening. However, we managed to scrounge up enough iron now, and we can go ahead and make those shears that we wanted to. So in order to make our shears, we're going to need 2 pieces of iron. We can go ahead and use our own 2x2 crafting grid. We're going to put one here, and that's going to make us our first pair of shears. So we're going to go ahead and take those shears, walk up to our nearest little woolly friend here, give him a right click, and that is going to drop some wool. So you'll see that now he's a little bit less furry, a little bit less hairy there, but don't worry, he'll grow that back in no time. Now if we go ahead and go over here and find another couple of sheep, we should get enough wool to make our first bed. Alright, you'll see that guy dropped a couple pieces there. Perfect. So now we've got 3, which is exactly what we need to make our bed. Alright, back at our little cozy cottage here, we can go ahead and walk up to our crafting table. We're going to put 3 planks down here in the bottom, and then we're going to put 3 chunks of wool on top of that. That's going to form us our very first bed. Thank goodness. So we can go ahead and slip that down somewhere. Let's put it right over here in that corner for right now. We don't need to do anything too crazy. We'll get a little window next to it. That way we can see a little bit of daylight out through our bed there. Now we do have our starter chest that we started the game out with as well. So I'm going to go ahead and slip that down next to the bed. And I'm going to start stowing away a couple of these belongings that we don't quite need right now. They're just taking up usable inventory space. And we're going to go ahead and preserve some of that space for right this second. So I'm going to put some of this stuff away. I'm going to eat this bread while we can, and I think that's going to be our next biggest hurdle. So you'll see that, like I said on the last episode, we've got our hunger bar down there in the bottom right-hand corner. And it's just constantly dropping, especially the more you jump, the more you fight, and the more you mine. So we got to make sure that we have a renewable source of food coming in. The best way to do that is to get some farming going. So we're going to go ahead and craft up a hoe now. We're going to reach inside of our chest here. We're going to grab us 2 sticks. We've already got a couple pieces of cobblestone I'm keeping on us there. So we can walk over here, put our 2 sticks in, put our cobblestone on the top, and that's going to yield us our first stone hoe. So now we can go out here and till up the ground. But it's not just quite that easy. Of course, crops need water to be sustainable, so we're either going to have to plant them nearby water, or we're going to have to relocate water to an area that's suitable for us. I like the latter. We're going to take some of this iron, 3 pieces, and we're going to craft us up a bucket. So we're going to take 1, 2, 3, and that's going to form us a bucket. Now with that bucket, we can go ahead and transport either milk or water. In order to transport milk, if you need any of that, you're going to walk up to your nearest friendly bovine friend here and give her a click. And that is going to fill up your bucket full of milk. Now you can go ahead and drink that, but you'll see that gave us no stamina. No hunger was regained at all there. We've got some friends down here I can hear too. But there are other uses for milk. Well, we're going to go ahead and talk about that in another episode. For right now, we're going to go over here to our little pond that we've got. Right click on that water, and that is going to fill up our bucket full of water. Now we're going to take that bucket of water over here to a more suitable location of where we want to start some kind of farm. Ooh, actually, looky here. We're actually going to have to go into bed and get cozy first. Let's go over here and go to bed for the first time. Start the day nice and fresh. And then we'll find a suitable location for where we want to put our farm. Ah, sweet dreams. So you'll see it also says down there in the chat window that our respawn point was set. So anytime that you sleep in a bed, you are going to set your respawn point. Now, recently they've also changed it to where you can just go ahead and right click on a bed. And if that's a new location, I'll go ahead and break this bed for demonstration purposes. If we were to move that bed over here, right click on it again, you'll see that now our respawn point is set to this location. So as long as this bed remains here, if we were to happen to die, you will be relocated right here onto this bed. So we're going to move our bed back in here to where it was, up against the wall there, and we're going to venture out. And like I said, I want to find a suitable location close by for a little bit of a farm. And I think this spot right about here is going to do it for us. We've got a little bit of, we've also got some coal right there as well. Well, like I was saying, we've got a little bit, we've got more coal. So we've got a pretty good flat area right about here where we can go ahead and start planting some crops. And I've got a good idea of how I want this to look. So I want to put in a circular farm bed. And we're going to have to do a little bit of terraforming in order to accommodate that large of an area. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and get rid of this tree and then carve away just a little bit of this dirt here. And that way we can have enough space to put the farm in. Alright, so I've went ahead and cleared out a pretty good chunk, but it's not quite enough area. I'm going to go ahead and fill in a good portion of this pond, if not all the pond as well. But I figured since I'm doing that, I might as well go down here and get all this coal as well, because man, this sure is nice. Now you'll notice that we also have air bubbles down there right above our stamina. And just like pretty much every other game, if you let those deplete all the way, then you are going to start taking some damage. It won't be immediate death, but it's pretty quick, so you'll need to be careful with that. Now if you notice that if you stand on a block that's only one block submerged into water, you actually will mine at your normal speed. However, if you go any lower than that and you're a little bit submerged, you mine much, much slower. So you have to be very careful when you're underwater that you don't put yourself in a precarious position where you're going to run out of air down there. So always make sure you're paying attention to that. All right, I've got all the coal in that vein, so we're going to go ahead and fill in this area now. Use up some of that dirt that we've obtained from doing that little bit of terraforming on the other side. So nothing goes to waste here. And notice all my tools durability down there has been running real low now that we've been doing so much work and activity out here. So I'm going to go ahead and go back through and make the stronger types of each one of these ones that are still wood. And I'm also going to go ahead and replace our stone pickaxe since it's so beat up. I'll go ahead and put these in there. And we're going to make another pickaxe, a shovel, a sword, and an axe. Perfect. I think that's going to be sufficient for our farm. So now we can go ahead and start breaking up some of this grass. Now, if you didn't know, whenever you break grass, there's going to be a small chance that you can get some seeds. So there they were. So whenever you break grass, you can get some wheat seeds. So we're going to go around, and not only do we need to break this grass just so we can see a little bit better on what we're doing, but also that's going to give us enough seeds to start replanting so we can go ahead and start planting these wheat seeds for full-grown wheat. Ah, fresh day. Now we can go ahead and start getting to work. So I know I want the very side wall of this to just kind of butt right up against this leftover little bit of pond. That way we can utilize as much of this area as we possibly can. So I'm going to go ahead and trace this out a little bit. Excuse me. Thank you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do that right there. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then come across. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come across. All right, wonderful. Now with our outline done, we can go ahead and start working on the center. And I'm going to go ahead and break out some of these because we don't want this to be completely enclosed or anything. I mean, we're still going to walk around in here. But we're going to come to the very center and we're going to break out that block right there. And we're going to throw in our water bucket. Now, water will saturate ground 4 blocks away from it. So if we take our hoe, right-click on the ground, then you'll see that we're going to turn this into farmland, which is suitable for planting crops. If we go out 5, though, it will not saturate this block here, and eventually this block will turn back to dirt, just like this right here. So we got to make sure that we have enough water spaced out in this area to saturate the dirt, and you can see it happening right there before our eyes, guys. We got this one right here. which is saturated farmland. This will provide a better area for plants to grow in, and it will remain that way inevitably. So you don't have to worry about coming back over here and retilling the ground or anything because the water keeps it nice and saturated. And you'll see that our fifth block has reverted back to dirt, just like I said. So now we can go ahead and come over here and grab another bucket of water. We're going to go ahead and instead of putting it right here at the end, I'm going to put it just a little bit over here. I'm going to set it here because it's 4 blocks in any direction. It will continue to saturate. And these ones, even diagonally, will still count towards that. So you'll see if I go ahead and till this ground up over here now, and I can replace this one on this side as well. We'll grab another bucket. Whoop. We'll put that in there. And we'll finish tilling all this ground. You'll notice that now the saturation effect is starting to spread slowly throughout all the farmland. So that's fantastic. That means that all of our farmland is going to be saturated enough and it's going to be suitable for growing some amazing crops for us to now start to eat. So we're going to go ahead and space this out again. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And on that 5th one right here, we're going to go ahead and put another bucket of water. And we'll do the same going towards the front area over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 5th one here, we'll swap that out with a bucket of water. Now that we've got all of our water in place, we can go ahead and finish up all of our farmland. And it's just about to use up every little bit of that stone hoe that we had. Ooh, yeah, that's real close. There we go. We'll just go ahead and finish it out. Christen the ground there for the first time ever. But all right, guys, this is looking absolutely fantastic. We have got a really large area to start growing some crops in. Now we can go ahead and start putting some of these wheat seeds in. So I'll start in the far back over here. And we're just going to go ahead and start putting these into the ground, right-clicking on there, just to insert them into the already readied farmland. Excellent. Now, if we want to expedite this process a little bit, make it just a little bit quicker, we can come over here to our chest, and you'll remember that we killed a couple skeleton friends there in the last episode. Now, if we take those bones, place them in our inventory, that's going to give us bone meal. For every 1 bone, you're going to get 3 bone meal. So we'll go ahead and use up all those, and we're going to make some bone meal. Now, bone meal will make plants grow. So we're going to go over here to our crops, and we're going to right-click, and you'll see that it developed it up. Now, if we right-click again, you'll see that now it is completed. It changed into that golden ambery color so that we can go ahead and click on it, harvest it, and now we have our very first piece of wheat ever, which is amazing. With wheat, now we can go ahead and start accumulating some animals pretty soon as well, and we'll get into that. So for now, you'll also see that not only did we get 1 seed back, but we got 3. So once the crop is completely developed, you'll actually obtain more seeds back than you invested initially. So we're going to go ahead and plant those next 3 seeds. We'll go ahead and go up to this one right here, which has gone up to the next growth stage. You'll see it's just a little bit taller than the original counterpart there. We'll click on that. Grow it up again, 1 more, and it's completed. We'll harvest that again and replant the seeds. So let's go over here. Let's see if we can get 1 more fully grown one. Excellent. We got 1 more, guys. So now we can go ahead and replant those final bit of seeds we've got. Now there are 3 pieces of wheat, like I said. We can gather up some animals, and I'll show you how to do that here pretty soon. But we've also got the option to make this into some bread. So we need some food. We're completely out, so we're going to go ahead and opt for the bread for right now. So we're going to place 1, 2, 3, and that's going to yield us 1 piece of bread. It's not a whole lot, but it is a renewable resource. And finally, we have got something to sustain us throughout our long, long evenings here. So all we have to do now is wait for these to continue to grow up, and we can keep harvesting these for more and more wheat. So at this point, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just roam wildly through these fields, gathering up as much of the wheat seeds as I possibly can. I think maybe if I get one stack, I might be able to finish out all these. I don't know the exact math. I haven't counted on there, but we can go ahead and fill in the rest of these, and then we can do a couple finishing touches on our farm here before we wrap up this episode. Well, maybe we'll get into a little bit of an adventure before we finish this out, huh, guys? All right, now this is a rarity. I didn't really expect to get into this so quick, but I didn't even notice that this was just slightly over the top of the hill. We have a desert temple. So these only spawn inside of deserts, and just like its name, it is a temple here. So it's going to be a little scary. We're not quite too ready for this, but we're going to venture inside. Now, we're going to have our torches on the ready. We're going to light this area up. The top section here has just a couple nooks and crannies that monsters can potentially spawn in. So you want to go ahead and make sure to avoid any problems there. Light those up. And this room here is the very center. Now you might get a couple mobs you'll see up there spawn as well. So if you come in here during the nighttime, be very, very cautious. I suggest go ahead and sleep and get into the daytime instead. But this area here, be very careful. This is one layer deep, and let me show you. So I'm going to go ahead and break this orange terracotta. We'll break that, and then I'll show you that underneath here is a hidden secret room. So we're going to go ahead and work our way down, forming a little bit of a stairway, and we're going to work our way all the way to the bottom, being very careful not to step anywhere off into the center area quite yet. Do not let the chests be a distraction to you. Don't let them coerce you into evil ways. So that thing right there is a stone pressure plate. That triggers redstone, or the equivalent of Minecraft's electricity, to trigger. So it will form an action here. So if I were to step on that, something would happen. And let me show you the something here. Ah, yes. If you don't recognize that, my friends, that is TNT. So TNT is safe to break with a tool or your hand. You can go ahead and break it. So it's not going to be toxic there if you happen to run into it or anything like that. But if you were to trigger it with a stone pressure plate, this whole area would just explode in violence. So that's the key to these things. You take yourself nice and slow down into the bottom area, and then you have all the loot to yourself. So let's see what we've got, guys. All right, we've got a little bit of sand. We've got some gunpowder. Okay, we can use that. We've got a saddle. We've got some horse armor for whatever animal we put that saddle on. That's fantastic. Some zombie flesh. A whole bunch of string. That's amazing. That's a really good find, you guys. We'll go ahead and take that chest since we don't have one ourselves. And let's keep moving on. A bunch more sand. Now, if you're playing on Java, you can go ahead, if you're wondering how I'm getting these things out of my chest so quickly here, if you have a item, let's say we have sand in the chest here. We've got sand in our inventory. If we double click really fast here, we'll actually pull all the sand from the chest onto our cursor, and it'll move down here real fast. So we'll do the same with the string and the zombie flesh, and we don't have any bones yet, so we'll just go ahead and take those out. And since the horse armor and the saddles don't stack, you won't be able to take those out all in one foul swoop. So let's take that chest. Number 3. Wow. All right, we've got really good stuff here. We've got a ton of bones, a lot of gunpowder, another saddle, more horse armor, a very, very nice golden apple, guys. That is extremely lucky right there. Golden apples have a lot of various effects that they give you once you eat them. Those are not your everyday food source, so you want to hold on to that for a rainy day. And wow, look at all the stuff we got, guys. Holy cow, did we luck out. String, bones, gunpowder, 5 sets of horse armor, 3 saddles. Now we just have to find a horse friend. And look at this, hidden in the walls, we have a little bit of iron that we can take back to our base and smelt that up as well. How lucky is that? I assume after me talking for a while and us having to venture down in there, we're probably up pretty late into the day, if not into the evening. Oh, we've lucked out. Let's go ahead and start heading back towards home. Oh, look at there. We're only halfway through the day. We still have plenty of time. So this is fantastic. Not only did we raid the desert temple, but we made it out with some really great loot, you guys. And we have plenty of time to get the rest of our seeds. So let's go ahead and continue on our original objective here and get a bunch of seeds. Well, I didn't get quite a full stack, but I think this is going to be sufficient enough because not only did we obtain a bunch of seeds from wandering around up there. Oh yeah, look at how big this farm is. Even 50 or more seeds wasn't enough to do all that. Good gravy. But as you'll recall, we got a lot of bones over there. So I'm going to go ahead and convert all the bones over to bone meal. And that gave us a whole stack of bone meal and a little bit extra. So let's grow up some of these crops. And then we'll use those to not only feed us some extra bread because our hunger bar is completely gone down yet again. But now we can also get enough seeds to hopefully finish out our farm as well. So I think we're doing pretty good here. Well, it looks like we got about half of the farm completely developed. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest it all and do a little bit of replanting here. And with that right there, that's every seed, I think it is. All right, we did it. We filled out the entire area with our seeds. Excellent. Every piece of the farmland is saturated. Every piece has a seed planted in it. And now we can finally sit back, kick our feet up, and really relax. And you'll see that we obtained 28 pieces of wheat out of that, which is really, really good, you guys. That is awesome. So we can actually go over here, get some more bread made up. I think I'm not going to go too crazy. I want to save some of this stuff. So we'll go ahead and let's do 4 pieces. I think that'll be pretty good for right now. So we'll eat that up. That'll hopefully fill us up for the night right before bed. We'll look out our bedroom window, see the sun going down. And I'm going to throw this iron ore in there. We'll get a little bit of coal. We'll just need 1 piece. Remember, coal smelts up to 8 pieces. So we've got our iron cooking up in there. And I'm going to go ahead and store some of this stuff away inside of our chest. We've also got another big chest. We can go ahead and put both of those down over there. We've got a ton of storage in here, guys. We just need to renovate the house here pretty soon. We're beginning to outgrow our living situation. But we've got plenty of stuff here to hold us over. That is absolutely fantastic, guys. I think this calls for a little bit of sprucing up. So we're going to get in here. We're going to add a couple different variants of stone. I'm going to go down here in the crevasse that we have over here and get a couple different stone variants, a little bit more cobble. Holy cow, look at that stone pick, mind you. Whew, we need to get another one of those. But we'll get all that stone, and then I'm going to bring it back up here real quick, and we'll add a little bit of variation to this and make it look a little bit nicer. And I think in order to do this productively, we're going to finally make the jump and get our very first iron pickaxe. So we're going to go ahead and swap out that stone pickaxe right there, and we're going to put that up in the chest. We're going to store away our couple other things here, and we're going to jump down there and grab us some stones. And you'll see just how much faster it is with the iron pick compared to the other picks. Each pick will eventually just be a little faster than the one previously, which is really nice. So now we can really get through this stone quickly. I've made a pretty good dent in here. I'm just kind of accumulating a couple stacks of the cobblestone, and then we're going to head back over to the base, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that cobblestone and some of this here andesite as well. So back at the house here, we can go ahead and take some of these and make them into other items. So I went ahead and turned on the crafting book here just to show you a couple different variants of what we've got. So with the blocks that you have in your inventory, you've got some choices. And you're probably wondering, man, well, how do I get the stone look? Because whenever you break stone with a pickaxe, it just turns to cobblestone. Well, if you go over here and we take out a couple pieces of coal, take them over to the furnace, stick those in there, and we put in, let's say, half of a stack of cobblestone into that right there. Then that is going to go ahead and start cooking up that cobblestone into stone. So with the cobblestone cooking up, now we can go ahead and go over here, and I'm going to make a couple different things to add some variation to our look over here to our farm. So I want to make a couple of stairs. So we can go ahead and click on the item in the auto crafting inventory, and it will just show us the pattern that we need automatically, which is just in the shape of a stair here. So we're going to go ahead and make a couple stairs, and I also want to save about a half a stack of cobblestone just to use it as a normal building block. Then we're going to take some of these andesite blocks, and if you put 3 down here in the bottom, you're going to end up with some andesite slabs. So we're going to make a couple of those as well, and then we're going to make a few of the cobblestone slabs. And then hopefully this is getting pretty close. Yeah, we've got a couple pieces. Let's go ahead and make a couple of andesite stairs as well. We'll make just a little bit of everything. Now we've got 8 pieces of the stone made up. And you'll see that not only can we make stone, but we also can make stone bricks. So you see we have a few different looks here. So if we make those stone bricks, exit back out, again, we've got more recipes unlocking. So now we have different variations to that we can make as well. So if we make another couple stone bricks, we should be able to see, yeah, that we've got stone slabs as well as stone stairs that we can make, and of course the stone brick wall. Very cool, very cool. So we've got a pretty good variety of stone variants over here. I like to use a palette of similar colors, that way you can kind of have everything matching. So we're going to take a few of these different blocks, and instead of just having cobble here, we're going to go ahead and start to remove a few of these and knock our crops down, obviously. But we're going to take a couple of these out and start to swap them with a couple different stone types. So we'll put just a little bit of variety in here, and we don't have to make all of them the same. If they're a little different, it actually gives them a little bit more contrast. So the more different, the better, in my opinion. So that's already looking a whole lot better. Just a little bit of variation and a couple little height differences with those half slabs in there are definitely going to help. Now we can go ahead and come back and start adding a little bit of height to it as well. I'm going to go over here and grab more of our stone, and we're going to start to make a second row. So we're going to add a couple of these. They're going to be just a little higher, and we're actually going to have a couple go all the way up to 3 high. And with that, we can go ahead and start to add a little bit more depth to this area and hopefully give it a little bit more character as well. Perfect. So all we did was we came around and just added some various stone steps, half slabs, all kinds of stuff. Just kind of mix it up, guys. And you don't have to go anything specific. You don't have to do what I did. You don't have to do what anybody else did. Just have fun and add in whatever you feel like, whatever looks good to you, guys. It does not have to be anything specific. If it looks good, then go with it. I just feel like the rustic look of some various different stones kind of bleeding off into this little bit of water pond here. I ended up really liking this water feature too. I'm going to end up getting that coal out of here in just a sec, but well, we've got some water bug issues right there too. But besides the point, I think this ended up looking really good right here. And for now, I think I'm going to go over here and show you guys another trick that I like to use for decorating, and that is using tree leaves as bushes. So we're going to go grab our shears. I'm going to put some of this stuff up there for just a second. And we're going to walk over to our nearest trees. This birch tree looks real nice. So we're going to go ahead and get the wood down off the tree. And before they all fall down, you can do this before you even chop the wood, but I want the wood too. You can go ahead and click on these, and it will actually strip the leaves without breaking them. You'll notice that the actual leaf itself is dropping. So we can go ahead and pick up all these leaves and use these as a decorative feature around our farm now. So let's bring these over there to the farm and see what we can do. So we'll add a couple here, right there. Put one up here and there. Here, up there. How about one real high up here? We'll put a couple that kind of fell down here. Put a few over here. So yeah, I think that adds just the next level of detail that really kind of pulls everything together. It kind of looks a little overgrown, and it makes it look like these are little hedge bushes or little bushes that are kind of growing up around here. So I really like this. This looks really clean, guys. Now for our final step. So whenever you walk in here, we don't want to keep falling into our water, and especially because if you'll notice that if you put any kind of pressure onto one of these plants, let's say we happen to jump here, you'll notice that it's going to have, well, prove me a liar, there we go. It has a chance to break the block. And it doesn't necessarily break the entirety of the block altogether, but it reverts it back to just dirt. So it ruins the farmland. So now you have to go get your hoe, come back over, and re-till the ground. But if we don't want to keep dipping into these little puddles here, there's a couple options that we have. Alright, so I've got our stone hoe that I've crafted, and I've also converted the birch wood that we got over there into some birch planks, and I've also got some birch half slabs. So we're going to go ahead, convert that back over there, and we're going to pop our seeds back in these last couple of spots that we kind of tore up here while we were renovating the area. There we go, perfect. And we're going to go over here to our water. Now, if you place a half slab is called a half slab because it only takes up half the block. If we were to be pointing at the bottom side of that block right there, it would put it onto the bottom side of the block. You'll see that the water's still there, but we still have that issue where we kind of dip down. We don't want that. So we're going to go ahead and remove that, pick up our block there, and instead of putting it on the bottom side, we're going to put it on the top side of that block. So we're going to put it up near the top half of this block, which is going to seal it up. Now you think, oh man, it took away our water. However, this is called a waterlogged block now. So the block still counts as a hard surface for you to walk on, but it also counts as a water block. You'll notice if we break this again, the water is still there. So we're going to go ahead and put a half slab over the top of each one of these water sources. And now we can go ahead and walk freely throughout our farm. Oh, hello. It looks, oh, hello. You don't have to tear, sir, you don't have to tear up our farm. I mean, you could just simply come over here and ask us what we're doing. I understand you're a trader, but, you know, this is traitorous behavior, if you get my drift. So these right here, who so rudely, abruptly interrupted our conversation, is a wandering trader. You'll see that he has his 2 pack llamas here with him, and if you click on him, he's going to actually have an opportunity to sell you some goods for emeralds if you've happened to come across those yet. So he doesn't have anything too crazy usually, just your general base items, but he might actually provide something that either is a rarity for you or isn't available in your area or your biome that you've spawned in. So let's say, for instance, that you don't have a jungle for a really far time away from you, a really long distance away from your base. Well, you can go over here and he has a chance to sell possibly some jungle saplings or other items that only appear inside of a jungle. So he's not completely useless. However, they're definitely not the most useful of traders in the entire world either. So, but back to our point here, we've got all of our half slabs put on top of here. Oh my lord. And, well, I'm going to have to show you guys the hard lesson. So, so these guys are a nuisance. It can be a nuisance, but there is no repercussions for just getting rid of them. So we're actually just going to go ahead and kill them. And the llamas as well. You actually get a little bit of experience and a little bit of loot out of this. Nothing crazy. I'll show you what we get here in just a second. We're going to go ahead and finish up both of these guys. Well, he's went AWOL. He's invisible now that it's nighttime. Wandering traders will drink a potion of invisibility whenever it turns nighttime, which actually is kind of a good key indicator of when you need to go to sleep, because if he's scared, then you should probably be too. So we'll go back over here and we'll finish the ugly deed that we had to do. I apologize, my friend, but you and your friends are just too much of a nuisance. So what they drop is llamas in general have a chance to drop leather, which we can use that fairly soon. And not to mention, they also drop leads. Leads are useful in their own right. We'll have a series devoted to leads and kind of transporting mobs and stuff like that in the future. But just know that this is basically like a lasso. Okay, so you're going to be able to lasso mobs and entities and kind of pull them along with you, kind of like a pet. But let's get back to our normal plans here, guys. We've been distracted long enough. Let's fix our ground finally, one last time, without any interruptions. So I've replaced all the crops that have been destroyed by the guy out there, the wandering trader, and his llama cohorts. And I've also harvested all the wheat that was already grown up. So now we have a little bit more wheat, a little bit more seeds. And I think for the final touch over here, we need just a little bit of lighting. So I think if we go over here, we should have all of our stone done. And we've got some iron and we've got some coal. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of our wood as well. We're going to go over here to our crafting table and we're going to make us a composter. And if we take some of these iron ingots, put it in there, it's going to break it down into iron nuggets. And then with some torches, we can actually go over here and form a couple of lanterns. So I'm going to make a couple of lanterns. I'm actually going to go ahead and make one more lantern. And we'll make a nice set of 4 over here. We'll bring these over to the farm. And hopefully this will give us the nice bit of light that we're looking for, guys. Yeah. So we've got a couple of lanterns posted up there. I think that's a nice little ambiance. We'll have to check that out in the nighttime. But I'm going to go over here to the very center. I'm going to place our composter right there on our half slab in the very center. That block will still count as a waterlogged block. And now, instead of going over here and once we harvest up our seeds, when we put them back in there, we won't need these extra seeds necessarily. So we can go up to our composter, right click on there, and it's going to actually start to slowly fill this up with compost. Once it gets all the way full, it will actually yield you 1 bone meal. So that's a really, really great way of giving yourself a sustainable way to keep getting bone meal. So go over here, farm up your crops, and then head over to your composter, fill her on up, and slowly but surely you'll be able to use that bone meal to, of course, feed back to your crops again. So you see how the circle goes on and on here. It's the circle of life. It's like Lion King, you guys. Well, I went ahead, pillared up here, give us a little bit better perspective on our farming area, and I think it turned out absolutely fantastic, you guys. We've got a little bit of decoration, as much as we can do this early on in the game. We've even utilized some of our iron, which, I don't know, I'm sure some people out there are screaming at me, you should have made armor, but we've got plenty of time, guys. I just wanted to focus on a little bit of fun here, a little bit of decoration for this area, and I think it turned out just really, really fantastic. And now we've got a sustainable food source, as well as we can start using wheat to attract animals, which is the thing we're going to get into next episode. But that's all the time we have for today, guys. I really appreciate you stopping back by, as always, spending time with me, hanging out. It's been a blast. I really hope you've learned something today and you continue to watch with me and learn everything you can from the great game of Minecraft. And if you like what you've seen today, please drop a like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.